All right, yeah, I was 17. I was an athlete in high school. So I had a couple of nerd buddies that I used to help me get my grades where I could stay in athletics and everything. So I liked everybody. So I took them out fishing, hunting, camping, down to Daytona for the weekend, things like that. And I decided that one time here, we was going to go out there behind Juniper Springs and go camping. It's a little place that I like to go to. And while we were there, we were sitting around the campfire, and I kept seeing something, a shadow outside, just outside a firelight. And I kept watching it, and it was circling our camp. So I seen it a couple of times going around us and all that. So I got up, and it was standing by a tree. It was big. I looked at it. I thought maybe it might have been one of the rainbow people or something that was camping out here. And I told them, I said, you need to get away from our camp because we're not interested in you. Just get away and leave us alone. Well, this thing just standing there looking at me.
I'll check it out, Mikey.
And every time I go to the woods, I always carry a gun. And back then I used to carry a shotgun with a slug in it, a magnum load, just in case, we have problems, bears or whatever. And this thing was just standing there, and I told it, I said, I got a gun now. If you don't go, I'm gonna shoot you. And the thing started walking toward me. Well, I didn't want to do it, but I did it. I pulled the gun up and shot it in the stomach. It doubled over and sat on the ground and then rolled behind the tree. And one of my buddies that was there, you got to remember, they were nerd guys. They were pretty decent guys. One of them pissed all over himself. So they had their .22s rifles with them, and we sat with our backs to each other until safe light. And then we took off running to the car and drove out to Highway 40, and there's a fire tower out there, and there was a game warden there. Well, I'd take off to the game warden, because I don't know who I shot. I don't know what I shot. And we got out there, and he jumped all over us, because we wasn't supposed to be back there, and we wasn't supposed to have guns, and he was just being really bad. Made us get in the truck, and he took us back out there to see what was going on. Well, we got back out there, was walking around the camp where I seen him walking at. There was no footprints. We got to the tree where he rolled behind it. There was no blood, no footprints, no handprint, nothing. Only thing you could find in that area was where we were sitting around the campfire. So he took us back to the fire tower, chewed us out, told us that, just don't talk about it, don't say nothing to nobody. It didn't really happen. And he said, just get out of here. I don't ever want to see you again. So them other guys are already in the car. And so I got in the car and took them on back, took them home. Well, a couple of weeks later, I was going to Daytona, and I happened to see him out there at the fire tower again. So I stopped off to talk to him. I asked him, I says, hey, did anybody get reported at the hospital for a gunshot, or did anybody find a body or anything like that? And he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, I was here a couple of weeks ago, man, a couple of my buddies, and I told you I shot somebody out there. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, you need to just shut up about it, marry on your own way. And I said, well, I'm just trying to find out, what happened. He said, I don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about it. Now get out of here. I got in the truck and the car, and I left. And that was the last I ever heard about it.